Hello to anyone who might be out there right now. I'll be starting my live class in about 2 minutes here. It doesn't look like anyone is live at the moment, but if anyone is there, if you could comment to tell me if you could hear me or not, that would be wonderful. All right, we'll get started shortly here. My microphone was working just a few minutes ago, so, oh great, you can hear me. Thank you. All right, it's 11 a.m. where I am. Welcome to anyone who's joining me live. I am so grateful for this opportunity to teach a live virtual class. Thank you to anyone who's joining me now or who might find this video later. Before we come onto our mats, you might wish to grab a few props. You might like to have some yoga blocks, perhaps a folded blanket or towel, a cushion. You can do the entire practice without these props, but if you do have them, they might just help bring a little bit more ease and comfort into your practice and maybe help with some modifications. I will be offering some modifications throughout, but please remember it's your practice. Please listen to your body and only go as far as your body is telling you. I find that's where I always get the most out of my practice, is when I really listen to my body. So for today's slow hatha class, I'm hoping this practice encourages feelings of letting go of what no longer serves you, and I hope this practice allows you to focus on the present moment. So when you're ready, please join me on your mat. We'll begin in Sukhasana. So coming down, you can cross your legs or just fold one shin in front of the other. I'm sitting on a folded blanket just to help my knees and hips tilt forward. Sitting up nice and tall, perhaps just adjusting side to side a little. Feel your sit bones rooting down. If a cross-legged position doesn't work for you, you can feel free to extend one or both legs out in front of you, or perhaps bring a couple of blocks under your knees. When you find your comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down away from your ears, crown of the head reaching up toward the sky. And we'll begin our practice today with pranayama. So we'll be doing equal breathing, Samavriti. And this can be a really lovely practice just to help calm the body, focus the mind, and just ground us in the present moment. In this practice, we'll be breathing in through the nose to a count of 4 and breathing out through the nose to a count of 4. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes or just gently soften your gaze. And begin just by noticing your natural breath. There's no need to change it. Just notice the quality of your breath today. On your next exhale, exhale fully, and then we'll inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. continue breathing to your own count. The count of 4 is not so important as matching the length of your inhale and your exhale. You might see what it feels like to count to 5 or 6, or just keep it right where it is. Just really listen to what you need today. And after your next exhale, letting go of the count, fluttering your eyes open if they were closed. You can feel free to return to equal breathing at any point during the practice today, or even later off your mat. We'll invite some movement into the body, starting with shoulder rolls. Inhale, shoulders come up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, shoulders come up. And exhale, back and down. One more time. Inhale, up. And exhale, back and down to neutral. Nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, right ear drops over right shoulder. Inhale back to center, and exhale left ear over left shoulder. Inhale back to center, exhale right ear over right shoulder. Inhale back to center, and last one, exhale left ear over left shoulder, and inhale back to center. Warming up the wrist joints with some wrist circles, just rotating the hands one way and then switching to go the other way. Fingertips come down to the mat at your sides. And on your inhale, arms sweep up overhead, palms join together. And on the exhale, palms come down in front of your heart space. I'd invite you to just take a moment here to set an intention for your practice. Perhaps your intention is to let go of anything that's not serving you, to focus on the present, or it can be anything that resonates with you today, anything that brought you to this practice. Letting go of the hands, and we'll bring the soles of our feet together as we come into Baddha Konasana, butterfly. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. You can prop blocks under your knees here if that feels better. And also just take a moment and kind of see what's the right spot for your feet. You can bring the feet in quite close to the hips, or you might bring your feet out quite far if you'd like to feel perhaps more of a stretch in the outer thigh. So find the spot that works for your feet, shoulders down, hands can rest gently on the ankles or feet. Nice long spine. We'll inhale, and on the exhale, begin to fold forward, keeping a nice straight spine, elbows out to the sides. And it might feel really nice to stay here with a straight spine, or you can see what it feels like just to round your spine down, let your head be heavy. Notice any sensations in your body in this pose. Notice where you feel your breath. On your next inhale, slowly coming back up, crown of the head, back up toward the sky. We'll be coming on to hands and knees, gently finding tabletop position. It might feel nice to bring a folded blanket or towel under your knees, just for some extra cushioning. Wrists directly under the shoulders, knees under your hips, fingertips spread comfortably wide, really pressing the fingertips into the mat to take some pressure out of your wrists. If you do find this is still too much for the wrists, though, you can always feel free to come down to forearms. Feet can be flat, pressing against the mat, or tucked. And imagine a nice long line from the crown of your head through your tailbone. Engaging the core and feeling nice and strong here in tabletop. We'll invite some movement into the spine with cat and cow. On the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, heart space shines forward. And on the exhale, tucking the tailbone, rounding the spine, gazing back towards your thighs. Inhale to cow, tailbone lifts, shoulders stay down away from the ears. And on the exhale, tucking the tailbone, rounding the spine, feeling that nice space between your shoulder blades. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. Continue with a few more here, just to your own breath rhythm. Your pace might be quicker than mine or slower. Just really find what's right for you. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to tabletop, neutral spine. Warming up the hips with some hip circles. So right leg lifts, knee can stay bent, and just rotating the leg one way and then the other. Right knee comes back down to the mat, and we'll do that on the left. So circling the left leg one way, and then the other. Knee comes back down to the mat. Big toes come together to touch. Knees out wide. We'll be coming back into child's pose. In child's pose, it can feel really great for some people, and for other people, some props might be really nice. You might want to bring a block between your arms to rest your forehead on. You might want to bring a cushion just between your seat and your heels. So inhaling, and on the exhaling, sinking the hips back toward the heels, melting the chest down and resting your forehead on the mat or a block, relaxing the arms, breathing deeply here. Child's pose is a resting pose. You can return here at any point during the practice when you feel like you might just need to take a little rest. However, for some people, child's pose might not feel very restful, and if that's the case for you, please feel free to move in and out of this pose or find another shape that feels relaxing and restful for you. On your next inhale, plant the palms and begin to draw your body back up to tabletop. You can remove you might have been using there. Coming into downward dog, if downward dog isn't right for you today, you can stay in tabletop, focusing on your breath, or even go back to child's pose. But if you'd like to join me in downward dog, palms just move forward about an inch or two, continuing to grip through the fingertips. Toes tuck, core engages. Inhale, and on the exhale, engage your quads to lift your hips up and back, finding ourselves in this nice upside down V shape. Armpits hug in, shoulders down away from your ears. Your heels can press toward the mat, however, they don't need to touch the mat. And you can keep your knees as bent as you like here. Just noticing your breath. On the next inhale, reach your right leg up, and on the exhale, knee comes in towards the chest as your right foot steps up beside your right thumb. Left knee comes down to the mat in our low lunge. If you'd like, you can use blocks here just to raise the earth up to you. Find a little more space here. In our low lunge, make sure that your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. We don't want the knee coming out over the toe. Protect the knee joint. Your thighs hug in toward the midline. Back toes can be flat, pressing against the mat, or you can tuck your toes. Just take a moment to find what feels stable for you here. When you feel you have a good, strong base, engage your core, and on the inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Hips are square to the front, shoulders stacking over hips. If it's too much for your arms to be up like this at the moment, you can always bring arms down to your hips or back down to the blocks. Inhale, and on the exhale, bringing the hands back down to the blocks or mat. I'm just going to move my blocks. We'll tuck the left foot, lift the left knee, and turn your left foot so that it's parallel with the short edge of your mat. Your right foot stays right where it is, right knee stacking over right ankle. And if you look at your stance, it might look like your right heel would intersect with the middle of your left foot if you were to draw a line back. Really press into the feet, engage the core, and on the inhale, bringing the arms up and out to warrior two. Just take a moment to check your alignment. Make sure that you're still protecting that right knee, that your knee's over your ankle. Maybe check that you can see your right big toe. Make sure your leg's not coming in. If this feels a little too intense right now, you can always shorten your stance. Find what works for you. Gaze out past the left fingertips, keeping the center engaged, shoulders over hips. Feel your strength here in warrior two. Inhale, and on the exhale, cartwheeling the hands back down to frame the right foot. We'll inhale, and on the exhale, stepping back to downward dog or to tabletop. Pressing through the fingertips, keeping your armpits hugging in, feet inner hip width distance apart, and it might feel really nice here just to pedal out your feet. Might some gentle, easy movement. And we'll find stillness. Just noticing your breath. And on your next inhale, left foot reaches up. And exhale, left knee towards the chest as your foot steps up beside the left thumb. Lowering the right knee down, coming into our low lunge on this side. Again, you might choose to use blocks to find a little more space here. Check that your left knee is over your left ankle. Left hip rolls back slightly and right hip comes forward, squaring the hips. Pressing in to the top of your back foot or tucking your toes. Engaging our core, and on the inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Once again, feel free to return your arms down to the mat or to your hips. Really listen to your body. You can find an unmoving focal point in front of you to focus your gaze. Inhale, and on the exhale, hands return down to the mat. We'll lift the right knee, pivot on the right foot so that your foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Left foot's parallel to the long edge. I'm really pressing into those feet, finding a nice strong base. And when you feel stable on your inhale, arms come up and out to warrior two. Again, check your alignment, making sure if you gaze down, you can see your left big toe pressing into the outer edge of your right foot. Hips are square, shoulders over hips, core is engaged, and you can turn your gaze to look out past your left fingertips. Again, you can feel free to shorten your stance. Breathing deeply here. Inhale, and on your next exhale, cartwheeling the hands back down to frame your left foot. Inhale, plant the palms, and on the exhale, step back to tabletop or downward facing dog. You might find some gentle, easy movement here again. If you're in downward dog, perhaps pedaling out your feet. If you're in tabletop, maybe just moving your hips side to side a little. And we'll find stillness. Nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, begin to just walk your feet nice and slowly toward the top of your mat. If you had a blanket or towel there, just be careful of that. And we'll find ourselves at the top of our mat in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Feet are about inner hip width distance apart, and try to really feel an equal distribution of your weight in both feet. You're bending from the hips and just allowing your body, your upper body to relax here. Your knees can be quite bent, or they can be more straight, just keeping a micro bend there. And on your next inhale, begin to just slowly ragdoll, slowly roll up to standing. Head is the last to lift. Crown of your head reaching up toward the ceiling as we find ourselves in Tadasana. I'm just going to turn to face the camera here. So in Tadasana, again, our feet are inner hip width distance apart, hands, arms out at our sides, palms facing forward. Just take a few nice breaths here to really just notice how your body feels here in Tadasana. On your next inhale, arms sweep up overhead, palms join together, and exhale, palms down in front of your heart space. Again, inhale, arms sweep up, palms join together, exhale, hands down in front of your heart. One more time, inhale, arms sweep up overhead, and exhale, hands down in front of your heart. We'll be coming into tree pose. I'd invite you to, if you need a little extra support with balancing, you might wish to move close to a wall or near some steady furniture that you can hold on to for support. And when you're ready to join me in tree pose, keeping the hips square to the front, just begin to shift your weight into your left foot. Right knee will turn out. First option for tree pose, you can keep the toes on the mat, heel resting just above the left ankle, staying right here, finding an unmoving focal point, a drishti point to set your gaze on, help with your balance. Or you might lift up that foot, place the sole of the right foot against the left calf. Or you might pick up that foot, pressing the sole of the right foot into the left thigh, thigh also pressing against the foot to help with stability. And wherever you are, focusing your gaze. Your hands can stay right here, or I'd invite you to join me in bringing your hands into Sapana Mudra. So index fingers stay out, the rest of your fingers and thumbs interlace. You can stay right here or extend your arms up overhead. Sapana Mudra is a symbol of letting go, pouring out, and it can help us direct our minds toward this state. Letting go of the arms, gently letting go of the legs. Coming back to Tadasana, might feel good just to pedal your legs out here a little bit, shake it off if you need to. And we'll find tree on the other side. So we'll begin with inhaling, arms come up overhead, and exhale, hands come down in front of your heart. Keeping the hips square, begin to shift your weight into the right foot. Your left knee turns out to the side. Again, the first option is toes on the ground, heel can rest just above the right ankle. Focusing your gaze, focusing on your breath. Option 2, sole of the left foot pressing against the right calf. Or option 3, picking up the foot, placing the sole of the left foot against the right thigh. Finding stability here, finding balance, focusing your gaze. And your hands can stay right here, or you can find the Sapana Mudra once again. And maybe if you're feeling nice and stable, reaching the hands up overhead. If you fall out of tree, that's no problem. Just let that go. You can try again. Where I am in Canada, it's the fall season right now, and I recently saw a quote from an unknown source, but it said that the trees are about to show us how lovely it is to let go. So you might imagine your beautiful autumn tree letting go of the things you no longer need, making room for new growth to come. Gently letting go of the hands, slowly letting go of the legs, back to Tadasana, and perhaps just pedaling out your feet a little here. Shake it off if you need to. Standing in Tadasana at the front of our mats. On the inhale, arms reach up overhead, and exhale, folding forward from the hips, coming into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. You might grab onto opposite elbows here, just rocking gently side to side. Release the elbows on the inhale. Come up to a halfway lift with flat back. And exhale back to the forward fold. Bend your knees quite generously here and come down into a tabletop position. Tabletop, just check that your wrists are under your shoulders, knees under hips. You might just move your hips side to side a little here. Big toes come together to touch, knees wide. Nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, sinking the hips back toward the heels, chest melts down toward the mat, forehead comes down to the mat. So we rest in child's pose. Just really notice the breath here. Just let go of anything that's happened so far in your practice and try to just surrender to this moment. On your next inhale, begin to just walk your hands back towards your knees, just rolling up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Slowly, slowly, the crown of your head is the last to lift. We'll come back into Sukhasana. You might wish to sit on a cushion or your blanket again. Crossing the legs or folding one shin in front of the other. Finding a comfortable spot here. I'd like to invite you to participate in a short meditation on breath sensations before we come down to our backs and end our practice in Shavasana. For this meditation, I'll be sitting in Sukhasana. I find that comfortable, but you are very welcome to come down onto your back now if you'd prefer to meditate in a laying down position, or you might even move into a chair if that's better for your body. So finding a comfortable seat for you. And when you're there, I'd invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and start to just notice your natural breath. Just as we started the practice, just noticing your natural breath. There's no need to change it. Just allowing it to be exactly as it is. Notice the air as it comes in through the nostrils. Notice the feeling as that air hits the back of your throat. Notice the rise of your belly, your chest. Notice the fall of your belly on the exhale as the air comes back out through your nostrils. Notice the temperature of the air. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is the temperature different on the exhale than it is on the inhale? Notice where you feel the breath most strongly in your body. Perhaps you notice the breath most right as you breathe it in. Perhaps it's in the rise and fall of your stomach or chest. You might notice your mind start to wander. Perhaps you're thinking about something that happened yesterday, or you find yourself making a list of to-dos. And if this happens, just know that that's completely normal. Try to just notice that thought that you're having. No judgment. Just let that thought go and return to your breath. Noticing your inhales and your exhales exactly as they are. We'll begin to bring some awareness back to our surroundings, just gently fluttering your eyes open if they were closed, and letting go of the meditation, no matter how that went for you, letting it go, and we'll move to come down onto our backs to end our practice. Removing any props, and just very gently and slowly coming down to your back. When you get there, you can keep your knees bent for a moment. Just snuggle your shoulders down, perhaps adjusting your hips a little to really feel your back against the mat. Might feel good just to move your knees side to side a little. Just if your body is asking you for any other movements right now, you can do that, and then we'll all meet with our legs extended long in Shavasana. Feet about as wide as the mat, feet turn out, arms at your sides, palms facing up. And when you get down here, just allowing your breath to be natural and letting go of any tension you might feel, either physical or emotional. Notice anywhere that you might be holding, and let those muscles relax. Feel your front body sinking down towards your back body. Letting go of the past and letting go of the future. Allowing yourself this present moment to rest peacefully in Shavasana. Begin to bring some awareness back to your body, deepening the breath. Perhaps you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe move your head from side to side. And when you feel ready, bending the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the mat, and just gently rolling over to one side. You might rest here in a fetal position using your arm as a pillow for a moment. And when you feel ready, gently press your body back up to sit, meeting me here in Sukhasana. Gently flutter your eyes open if you're not there yet. Palms join in front of our heart space. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really appreciate you taking your time to join me. If you have any comments, any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to learn from you. Thank you so much. Namaste.